I really like Adam and Eve a lot. It was one that I had done like 7 times, and by the 7th time, I nailed it for what I wanted.
Why do they look so gloomy?
So the expressions on the faces, well, one, they just brought about the fall of man.
Right.
So that, that would bum me out.
Are they shamed? Is that the face?
I think that's part of it. And I think also part of it of why like some of my Jews have like kind of sad faces, like that one, is like a lot of it is inspired by Arthur Zizix. I don't know if you know who Arthur Zizix is. So a lot of, because these are essentially caricatures of Jewish people. A lot of caricatures of Jewish people have been used to demean and degrade Jewish people, especially in the Holocaust. And so Arthur Zizix sort of used the same imagery that the Nazis were using. So he used like a lot of caricatures of Jewish people, but he flipped it on its head. So he would do caricatures of Nazis, and he would do like anti-Nazi propaganda. But he also did Jews, and when he did Jews, he did hyperbolic like caricatures, but they were like these sort of like joyful, sad. It's sort of where you get that face from. I sort of made fun of it over there in the klezmer instrument. But like, these Orthodox Jews that are, or even just like these sort of Eastern European Jews that are like, they're like elated but sad. But it kind of also relates to our whole thing about, I mean, I think culturally, right? Like we relate like our greatest joys to our greatest sadnesses. Which is, for me, why when I think of like Jews, I think of like a sad Jew, like a sad, happy Jew.
Are we just overdramatic either way?
I think that for us, well, I think a couple of things. I think it goes really deep. I think there's the whole sort of surface concept of relating our greatest joys to our greatest sorrows. But I think on a deeper level, right, like we're a culture that is really ingrained in thought and argument and scholarly pursuit. And I think that when you are like that, like when you don't see things as just like a 1-to-1 ratio, in other words, like everything is interconnected and everything carries a lot of thought and connection and weight, life becomes kind of a heavy affair, I think. And I think that for Jews, that's why there's a lot of sort of weight to everything, is we have the weight of our past, and we also have sort of this scholarly, intellectual, cerebral weight that we put on things. So yeah, I suppose that's like why, like for instance, like people really related in cinema, right, to like a serious man. And people related to that because it was like the archetype of like the scholarly, sort of nebbish, sort of sad Jew. There is the archetype of the sad Jew to an extent. Yeah, but we kind of love that, I think.